Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we are talking about TikTok because I'm asking the question, did TikTok's AI actually kill a child? According to a new lawsuit, it did, and here's what's going on. Now, this is coming from author Kyle Barr of Gizmodo that I will be paraphrasing and or quoting extensively. This is a really interesting article, and I've got a ton of thoughts on this, but here's what's going on. The mother of a 10-year-old daughter who died last year is suing TikTok and its parent company ByteDance over allegations that the company's algorithm promoted a so-called Blackout challenge to this child's feed. Now, in a complaint that was filed yesterday on Thursday, Tawaina Anderson, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, of Pennsylvania, said that her daughter Nyla died last year after she asphyxiated when attempting to perform that so-called Blackout challenge that encourages people to record themselves holding their breath or choking until they pass out. That is according to the initial complaint filed by Ms. Anderson. Now, Ms. Anderson also said that she rushed her 10-year-old daughter to a local hospital on December 7th of last year, but unfortunately her daughter died due to complications of her injuries on December 12th. Now, according to court documents, they claimed that the challenge was recommended to her through the algorithm that, quote, determined that the deadly Blackout challenge was well tailored and likely to be of interest to 10-year-old Nyla Anderson. The Blackout challenge has been reportedly running on the platform for years, but similar challenges have been part of the school playground environment for decades, again, according to this article by Gizmodo. Now, Tawana's death follows, though, a rash of similar and heavily publicized TikTok choking incidents over the past few years. And we've talked about TikTok challenges. Some of these were fake, basically instigated by Facebook. I literally did a video on podcast. I think I talked about that on my radio show as well. But there have been many of legitimate challenges. This one apparently is true as well. Now, another, according to this, a 10-year-old girl in Italy died after she attempted the challenge last January, and a 12-year-old Colorado boy died on April 2021, also after attempting this apparent challenge. In an email statement, a TikTok spokesperson said, according to Gizmodo, and I quote, "This disturbing challenge, which people seem to learn about from sources other than TikTok, long predates our platform and has never been a TikTok trend. We remain vigilant in our commitment to user safety and would immediately remove related content if found. Our deepest sympathies go out to the family for their tragic loss." Now, the platform has explicit rules about content that advocates self-harm. The app does have a curated version for users under 13 that limits personal details users are able to share and limits their ability to comment or post content, but it's unclear how automatic systems might restrict content from coming up in a user's feed, whether they're under 13 or not. Now, the platform is rated 12 plus on both Apple and Google app stores, but like most apps, all it does is make an account. All you have to do is make an account and claim that you're at the age limit. The company claims that it removed more than 15 million underage accounts last year. Here in the United States, we have the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, and so essentially that's all they have to do is say, hey, check here to say that you're 13 or over, and you have satisfied that rule. I have talked about that when it comes to Facebook over and over and over, because there are plenty of kids under the age of 13 with Facebook accounts, and quite frankly, their parents know this, their parents understand this, and their parents turn a blind eye. So the question that I have is, was Ms. Anderson, meaning the mother, aware that her 10-year-old daughter had a TikTok account and was fine with it, not necessarily realizing the complete consequences of what that meant? Now, during a press conference on Thursday, one of the Anderson family attorneys, Bob Mangialuzzi, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, said, and I quote, "TikTok is one of the most powerful and technologically advanced companies in the world. So what did TikTok do once it learned of this? They used their app and algorithm to forward a Blackout challenge video to a 10-year-old. Now, the complaint describes the app's algorithm as being intentionally designed to, quote, maximize user engagement and dependence, that obviously encourages children to repeatedly engage. Now, that is true of most social media, I would say, in the sense that study after study has shown that Facebook, and obviously not TikTok, two different companies, but Facebook's algorithms have consistently basically had negative things that it sees as viral and then push that out to make it even more viral in an effort to make money. So TikTok could be in that same boat. Now, the lawsuits targets TikTok as the designers of the algorithm as distributors that promoted content to 10-year-old Tawa Ina. Now, and I quote, it is time that these dangerous challenges come to an end. Something has to change. Something has to stop because I wouldn't want any other parent to go through what I'm going through. Obviously, that is Ms. Anderson, the mother, unfortunately, of Tawa Ina. Now, this lawsuit is not the only one going after TikTok over allegations that they promote dangerous content to children. This past March, news broke that several state attorneys general were investigating whether TikTok is harmful to young adults and whether the company is aware of the content that younger users see. TikTok has rapidly become one of the most popular social media platforms and is expected to make more in advertising than both Twitter and Snapchat combined. And that is absolutely true. I've talked about the absolutely meteoric rise of TikTok. It's tied to the Chinese governments for surveillance, all those kinds of things, but that's not what we are talking about here. We have a multifold problem. One is parental responsibility, and I think that's a huge thing. If you have a child, understand that there have been studies that have been quoted by people like Jonathan Haidt, who is one of the authors of The Coddling of the American Mind, or Jean Twenge, the author of iGen, about just how detrimental social media can be. And studies have shown that since the explosion of Facebook, which was the social media platform until many competitors popped up years ago, that the rates of depression and suicide in boys spiked up from about 2011, 2012, but way spiked up for girls in that same era. And studies have also shown that if kids, meaning those that are preteen to teen, adopt social media for the first time when they are about 19 years old, they are better and more well adjusted. Now, that said, there are a lot of parents out there that, quite frankly, and I'm going to be honest, don't parent. I'm not applying that to Ms. Anderson here. I do not know their situation, so please do not mistake me for blaming the mother here for the 10-year-old's death. But what I'm saying here is, we have this understanding that social media is pervasive. The older generations might be addicted to Facebook, but the younger generations are addicted to Snapchat and TikTok and everything else, but it is in the same vein. It really behooves us to take a look at this society-wide and say, what is best for our kids? Why can't we enforce this policy? And a lot of parents look at this and say, I don't want my kid to be a pariah in school when all of his or her friends around them have social media, that they're on TikTok, they're doing these kinds of things. And again, this is outside the data mining side of this that I pound home constantly. This is purely understanding when is an appropriate time to have a child on social media. A 10-year-old cannot make rational decisions in the same way that we don't allow, let's say, 15 or 16-year-old girls to adopt children, and that's a huge problem, right? Because we have to progress. I look at myself now and I look back at, 18-year-old Nick, 16-year-old Nick, 21-year-old Nick, and I'm a much different person. I have more education, I have more experience, and hopefully I have a little bit more wisdom. And so understanding the decisions that a 10-year-old would make to see and emulate potentially what they're seeing on TikTok, I think personally, and this is outside of that lawsuit, has to be a shared responsibility. One point of that shared responsibility is the parent, in the sense that they have to understand the good, the bad, and the ugly with a social media platform their kid is going to adopt, whether that is the data mining, whether that is the emotional health of their child, above and beyond. The other side of that is understanding that the TikToks and Facebooks of the world, and again, you are sitting here listening or watching somebody that literally created a video called "It's Time to Put Mark Zuckerberg in Jail." So believe me, I don't give them a free pass, but also understand that when you're looking at a Facebook or a TikTok that has hundreds of millions, if not billions of users, there are no human eyeballs that they can hire that would actually be able to keep up with the amount of content that is being put out on their platforms, and therefore artificial intelligence and the computing power to allow artificial intelligence to do its thing, even if there are false positives or false viralities, is going to be the name of the game. As artificial intelligence gets better, the hope is that that will essentially shrink, and so we don't see these kinds of things, but that is inevitable. Personally, I don't necessarily know if this lawsuit will stand, only in the sense that where is the mother's responsibility? Is she taking any agency over this entire situation, or is she blaming purely TikTok? And I understand grief. My heart breaks for her, and I am not blaming this mother for anything, but these are honest questions that we have to ask ourselves as a society. Is this overall good? Now think about Pew Research. Think about what they have put out before. And a couple of years ago, Pew Research put out a study that said only 38% of people believe that technology has personally benefited them. That is less than half. That is just a little more than 1/3 that think that technology has personally benefited them. And so what does that say about the majority of us? We have a myopic view on technology. We see the iPhone in front of us, or the Android in front of us, or the computer in front of us, and think, this really hasn't helped me in the long run. I am more connected at work. I can't get away from it. Maybe a schoolyard bully I can't get away from because they're on social media. We have depression. We're addicted to social media, all these kinds of things, but we're not thinking about technology as a whole. What about health tech that makes us live longer? What about automotive tech that makes our cars more efficient? What about airline tech or airplane tech that makes sure our planes are harder to fall out of the sky? Technology is all around us. We're not getting away with it, but understand how it impacts your children. Understand how it impacts you and adjust accordingly. This is a huge problem. Quite frankly, it really annoys me. It really does. Anybody under the age of 18 on social media is just doing themselves harm, and their parents aren't parenting. They're not saying no. This is a huge issue. We need to address this. We need to talk about this. And so here I am talking about this. Please, I know I almost never ask, share this. These are things that we need to know. These are things that we need to discuss. We need to understand. Otherwise, the next TikTok challenge may kill a whole lot more of 10-year-olds. And quite frankly, it's TikTok's fault, but it's also the parents. You are also to blame. I am also to blame. We need to think about these things. We need to discuss. And that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where, again, your kids shouldn't be. Same with YouTube. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.